Well, good morning. It is still morning. We didn't start that late. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Tyler Sweedock. I am the Executive Director of the Colorado Smart Cities Alliance. We are a nonprofit organization that creates the technology partnerships like the one that you're going to see today that can help to improve life here in Colorado. I'll be your MC for the event today, and I'm excited to be joined by a number of the key stakeholders and partners who will give some remarks about the importance of the launch of this service today, and you'll hear from several of them before the event is over. Today, here at the Colorado School of Mines in the beautiful city of Golden, Colorado, we will write the next chapter in the world's transportation history book at a time when we need a new chapter desperately. This past weekend in Denver, we had the worst air quality in the world here in the Denver metro area. And today, as you can see, it's still a problem. And this air quality is very much due in part to the impacts of climate change and the emissions coming from our vehicle tailpipes. These shuttles that you see here, and you'll get to experience today, are 100% electric and produce zero tailpipe emissions, which aligns very much with the state and Governor Polis's administration and President Biden's goals to electrify the transportation sector. They also demonstrate a stark contrast to what people know of as transit, dirty diesel buses. More people than ever are also dying on U.S. roads. More than 42,000 people died last year on U.S. roads. And here in Colorado, we've seen an 89% increase in traffic fatalities since 2009. These autonomous vehicles are always paying attention. I encourage you next time you're in the passenger seat of a car to look out the window and see how many people are not paying attention on the roadways. It has very much contributed to more deaths on those roadways. Access to convenient, affordable mobility options is out of reach for way too many people. And these driverless, connected, and electric shuttles can provide tremendous opportunities to lower the cost and expand transportation to more and more people. And so, beginning with the launch of the Mines Rover service here today in Golden, Colorado, AVCO, the program that we're talking about today, is going to be a new approach to improving our flight transportation system, and you're going to get to experience it today in real life, or IRL for millennials out there. Now, we are here today because of a tremendous partnership. This has taken the investment and resources and time from organizations all over the state and all over the country. I want to take some time to thank those that were critical to this project before I welcome our other speakers up to the stage. Easy Mile, of course, the Colorado School of Mines that we're here at today, the City of Golden, the cities of Greenwood Village and Colorado Springs, where we hope to deploy, Stantec, Siemens, McKinstry, Hexagon SmartNet, Panasonic, CDOT, and Puro. Lastly, we want AVCO to grow our innovation ecosystem here in Colorado and accelerate the broader smart mobility industry across the world. So if you're a company, a city, a transit agency, a philanthropy, or other stakeholder that's interested in getting involved with this project, we have several ways to engage, and we'd love to talk to you more about it. So lastly, I'm sure you want to hear the much more prominent speakers here with us today. So it's my pleasure to introduce the president of the Colorado School of Mines, Paul C. Johnson.
Thank you, Tyler. Good morning, everybody. Hey, thanks for being here to celebrate the official ribbon cutting and launch of the Golden Mines Rover shuttle system here. This is something that came about after a discussion that was triggered more than a year ago from one of our alums who was working for Easy Mile and said, "Hey, got this great technology. It's the future. Colorado School of Mines is the absolute best STEM school in the world, and I can't think of a better place to demonstrate and deploy this as a test bed. And so let's see what we can do." And a lot of people got involved from that point forward, and that's gotten us to where we are today. I often get questions from people like, is there some problem we're solving or whatever? And it's not that like our students can't walk these routes, right? Because the alums here, and I see lots of alums. Alums, raise your hand, right? First thing the alums are going to say is, oh, they're making mines easier again, right? We used to have to walk up from Clear Creek. We used to have to do this. Now they get to ride in shuttles, right? The reason we're doing this is because it's cool and it's the future, right? And if anybody's going to demonstrate this, it ought to be Colorado School of Mines, right? In partnership with all the wonderful folks that we're connected to. So it's a lot of fun for us. Our hope is that we're going to have student projects involved with the shuttles. I'm hoping that it just stimulates one of our students to be thinking, and more of our students be thinking about what the future is really going to be like and what they can do about the future. And I hope that we learn things through the deployment on our routes that go into the future generations of these vehicles and their deployments as well. I have, we fully expect suggestions from students. I'll say I have already received some. Actually, for all the students out there, raise your hands so people in the audience can see. And how many of you are actually just going to be first-year students at Mines? So here you go. You get to be here for that, right? They get to brag that they got shuttle cookies and shuttle stickers, and they were the ones here when this was launched. But in true Mines fashion, I'm already getting suggestions. For Gary, for those of you who are planning the routes, there is a request for one shuttle that's specifically designated for tubing down at Clear Creek. So they need, I think, a little hangar for some tubes on the outside and work through that or whatever. But they're already planning on those routes for there. So write that down on your notes. But when you look at one of these things, it's really cool because it's autonomous, it's intelligent, it's battery operated. It's got all the good things it can do for society there. But from an engineering school standpoint, it's a bunch of components, right? There's novel materials in there. There's battery systems in there. There are control systems in there. There's artificial intelligence in these things. And so these are all things that we work on the Mines campus, and I'm really looking forward to not just what it does functionally for us, but what it's going to do to really excite and inspire the next generation of engineers. So with that, again, thank you so much for coming out here, and it is my great pleasure to introduce the Lieutenant Governor of the great state of Colorado, Dianne Primavera. Dianne, please come on up. We can go this way.
Great. Well, thank you, and good morning, everybody. Thank you, President Johnson, for such a warm welcome. I'm Lieutenant Governor Dianne Primavera, and I'm so pleased to be here with you today to celebrate the launch of the Mines Rover. You know, it's innovation and creativity like this that make Colorado the envy of states across the country. Now locals and tourists alike can enjoy everything Golden has to offer while supporting our environment. Fighting climate change and embracing renewable energy has been a priority for the Polis Primavera administration since day one. One of the governor's very first acts in office was to sign an executive order putting Colorado on the path toward adopting a zero-emissions vehicle standard. And just last year, we released the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Roadmap, which lays the groundwork for Colorado to achieve 100% renewable energy by 2040, including tackling transportation emissions, which is one of the highest emitting sectors. Clean energy and electrification isn't just the future, it's our present, and it's going to be essential in a stronger, faster economic recovery, as well as more sustainable transportation system. That's why I'm proud that just a few months ago, Governor Polis signed into law a historic transportation and infrastructure package that will not only reimagine how we move people and goods, but support the market-drive transition to electric vehicle and our goal of getting nearly 1 million EVs on the road by 2030. I'm helping that because I have 3 EVs in my driveway and solar on my house. So over the last week, everyone in Colorado has felt the real-world effects of climate change in their daily lives. The wildfire smoke and pollution in our air has made it difficult to breathe and far more challenging to get out and enjoy the great, vast outdoors that we are all so privileged to have easy access to. Our collective, immediate action is needed. No effort is too small. Individuals, colleges, and universities, local governments, and private companies all have a role to play in combating climate change. And the coalition of stakeholders gathered here today is the perfect example of what we can achieve when we do it all together. This launch would not have been possible without the support of the Colorado Smart Cities Alliance, the Colorado School of Mines, Easy Mile, and the City of Golden. So I offer my personal congratulations and gratitude to each of these groups for coming to the table to support this exciting initiative. The Mines Rover is the first of its kind here in Colorado, but it will most certainly not be the last. With plans for 2 more autonomous shuttle systems, this is the only next mile of an electrified future of transportation in Colorado. So thank you all for being here, and thank you to all of our coalition.
We're at the School of Mines, and we have really fancy podiums. So thank you so much, Lieutenant Governor. It's my absolute pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Congressman Ed Perlmutter of the Colorado 7th District.
Yeah, I don't want him to bring it up too much. I'm not, Dianne and I are about the same height. Paul, of course, a little taller than us. So I just want to say thank you to the School of Mines and to the City of Golden and to Colorado Sustainable Communities for launching this. Obviously, Tyler said, you know, the smoke and haze is so disappointing for a Coloradan, for anybody, and we have to do something about climate change. There's no question about it. And we have 2 very big pieces of legislation in front of the Congress right now, a transportation bill and a reconciliation bill, which are huge when it comes to the environment. There are 2 key pillars to those bills. One is sustainability and the other is diversity. And we are going to get those things passed. And key to it will be innovation, like we have here with this autonomous shuttle. This rover is sort of the key, kind of the key thing to the future. It's all going to be a whole bunch of things that reduce the haze, stop the wildfires, help us keep this planet whole for our future and for all our kids' future. So I want to just say this is a heck of an effort. I'm looking forward to riding on it today. I know we have some folks from the Regional Transportation District here, so they're waving back there. I saw Doug and Paul and other folks from the Regional Transportation District. They're obviously very interested in how this is going to work. I want to say to the alums of the School of Mines, I had an intern, I just ran into him, who is going to be a freshman here at the School of Mines. He's been going through an orientation for the last several days. It included running up South Table Mountain. Poor kid got down about 2 hours ago and he's still sweating. So I want you to know it's not getting easier. We have a lot of problems that have to be solved, and it's the students and the alumni who graduate from this place who answer so many of those problems that we've got to solve. And one of those answers is right here with this shuttle, and I look forward to it becoming just commonplace throughout Colorado. Thank you very much.
All right, next up, a former colleague and friend of mine, Kay Kelly, who is the Chief of Innovative Mobility at the Colorado Department of Transportation. Kay.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Kay Kelly. I'm the Chief of Innovative Mobility at the Colorado Department of Transportation. I'll keep my remarks brief because I know everyone is so excited to get in the shuttles. But at CDOT, we understand and recognize the opportunity that technology can play to improve the safety, mobility, and environment for Coloradans and also those visiting our wonderful state. In Colorado, CDOT leads a process with some fellow state agencies, including the Colorado State Patrol, the Department of Revenue, to oversee the safe operation and deployment of autonomous vehicles, such as the shuttles that are here today from Easy Mile. We're excited to have supported the City of Golden, the Colorado School of Mines, Easy Mile, and the Colorado Smart Cities Alliance through our Autonomous Mobility Task Force process, and are really eager to see the connections and the benefits that this deployment is going to provide in the local and regional transportation system. So thank you for having us here today. Job well done to bring sustainable, innovative, and environmentally conscious transportation options to Colorado, and options that are very much in alignment with the state's climate and energy and mobility and safety goals. This project just checks so many boxes, and we're so excited that it's here in Colorado, and we're anxious to see what results we have from this over the next year. So thank you.
All right, last up, we have Sharad Agarwal, who's the Senior Vice President of Easy Mile, who makes these automated shuttles that you're going to be riding on in 1 second. So, Sharad.
Thanks, Tyler. Welcome, freshmen. We have lots of job opportunities for you if you're interested to operate the shuttles as we get rolling. So I just wanted to thank President Johnson and the City of Golden for hosting us on this project, which is to be the biggest deployment for Easy Mile all over the world. So very exciting for us. But I wanted to take time to recognize the team from Easy Mile who spent several months, day and night, going after getting these shuttles to get this launch to be successful. So I wanted to everybody please take a chance, take a round of applause for the team at Easy Mile. And walk up to them and say thank you. So I appreciate that. From our perspective, autonomous vehicles are coming. This is not a matter of if, it's when. And as us, as the technology providers, we're really focused on our roadmap of getting the technology ready. But we always have a big question in our mind is that if our technology is ready, are the cities going to be ready? There's a lot of questions out there when it comes to AV that's very different than manual driving. Simple things like how are you going to regulate it? Are we going to put permits on there? Who's going to wait in line at the DMV to get your plates? These are questions. That's one of the questions that we think about. Also, the risk perspective, and how do you know if there's an accident? Where's the risk going? What kind of infrastructure we need to put into it? So really, the reason we started in collaboration with the Colorado Smart Cities Alliance to find a project here in Colorado that we could really build off of and develop a living lab, an opportunity for people to come and learn. So other cities, other universities, to really develop guidelines on how do you deploy AVs in the next 2 or 3 years. Because in reality, if we have the technology ready, but the regulations aren't ready and the cities aren't ready, then it'll hold us back a little bit. So we want to welcome everybody here in Colorado, across the world, to come please join us. Use us as a living lab, use us as a knowledge center, and together we're going to build the new autonomous future. So thank you.
All right, just a few quick announcements before we let you go here. So there's going to be a ribbon cutting right here in just a second. And then you'll have a chance to ride this shuttle right here. Masks are required on the shuttle per federal mandate, so just keep that in mind. You'll be asked to wear a mask when you do get on. And then starting at noon, service will begin. So keep in mind, this is not just a trial or a test for today. There will be a real transit service running around campus starting here at noon that can take you back to the K-Lot if you parked there, or can take you to Mines Park. And then lastly, cookies and refreshments are still inside. If you haven't seen the cookies, they're adorable. They look like little shuttles. So I encourage you to get one. And thank you all so much for coming. We hope you enjoy one of the first experiences here on the Mines Rover. So thank you.
I just wanted to announce that right before our 2 ribbon cutters are going to be our highest state and federal elected officials here. But I wanted to ask Congressman Perlmutter to come over just for a second, because I want all the Mines folks to notice. He has a Mines tie on, and what I always call a graph paper shirt. So he's done his best to be one of us here today. So thank you, Congressman.